I promised you guys a tier list, so here it is. The High School DxD character design tier list. Now it may seem similar to the High School DxD character drip tier list, but this is completely different. With character designs, we're looking at more than just what they're wearing. We're looking at their face, we're looking at their hair. Does the character design match the character? We're looking at all of that for this video. So let's go ahead and get to it. So here's the tier list, and I'll just go ahead and take you through all the tiers like always. The first tier is Goat Azazel. You know, your highest tier character designs. You see these character designs and it's like, wow, that's a Goat Azazel. The next one is Peak, and this means that they have a great character design. You know, it's good to look at, it's fun to watch, and it matches the character. The next one is Solid, and obviously I think that speaks for itself. Good design, maybe even a great design, but not a top tier design. Then of course you have Basic. That just means, you know, basic design. I don't think I have to say anything else. Then we have Eyesore, and these are designs that just aren't good. You know, you don't like looking at that character. And then at the bottom, the last tier is God Awful. And this is for the characters that just can't do anything. Can't dress, it doesn't match their characters, it's not fun to look at, it's not unique. So I guess let's go ahead and get into the tier list. The first person on my list is Kiba. And Kiba's design is a little bit basic. It's not doing anything crazy here, but at the same time, it's not really bad either. The thing I will give this design though is that it matches Kiba perfectly. This is exactly how I would imagine Kiba would look like. He's described as like this Prince Charming knight for Rias Grimoire. You know, a knight without the shining armor. That's kind of what you would expect from them. You know, he's a pretty boy that can fight. So I think Kiba's character design works for what it is, and I think it looks good enough to be in the solid tier. The next person is Sirzechs, and I think Sirzechs has a pretty cool character design. I really love him and Rias's hair. I think that makes them stick out a little bit more, or it did at the time. Nowadays everyone has a character with red hair, and I think his full body outfit does suit him really well. He really does come off as like the leader of the underworld. Even though I don't like the shoulder pads, even though it looks like he's about to line up at tackle, I still think the character design fits him. So I think Sirzechs definitely deserves to be in the solid tier. The next person on my list is the main man himself, Issei. And actually one of my biggest problems with Issei as a character is his character design. I really don't like how basic and generic Issei looks. I get he's supposed to be your typical average high school boy. He's supposed to be like a self-insert type main character, so they made him as generic as possible. I don't know if I can find it, but there's this one picture that has a bunch of main characters all together, and it's the main characters that all have generic character designs, and Issei's in that picture and you can barely tell him apart from everyone else. And for this list I actually separated Issei and Ddraig, so the armor isn't able to save him, and he has a really basic character design. But I do get the point is to make it as basic as possible, but that's still not going to help him on this tier list, so he's going into the eyesore tier. Just not a good character to look at. The next person on my list is Shalba, and Shalba is a weird one because I don't really know what his character design is. Sometimes he looks kind of basic to me, but then other times it kind of looks like they did put effort into his character design. He's kind of a hard one to rank. I'll put him into the basic tier since I don't think he really sticks out that much, and I don't really think he has a real chance to showcase his character design since like every time we see him in the anime it's just his neck and up. So I'll put Shalba in the basic tier. Next on the list is Rossweisse, and I love Rossweisse's character design. Like actually one of my favorites in the entire series. She was on the top of the drip list and she's definitely going to be on the top of this list. She looks like a Valkyrie and she just dresses so nice. She's one of the best characters to look at. Like her battle armor is just so good. She honestly outclasses everyone in the group. Everyone there kind of just wears their school clothes, and Rossweisse is the only one that actually looks good. So when she's fighting, she sticks out the most. She's easily one of the best dressed, one of the best designed, and just one of the best looking characters in general. She definitely goes to the peak tier. Next on the list is Heracles, and you guys should already know how I feel about this guy. I hate this guy so much. This might be the worst designed character in the history of all anime. Like, this guy is so trash, so bad, so boring, so disappointing. Every word you can think that's negative, you can apply it to this guy. All that hype, all that build up, just for him to grow spikes on his shoulders and bombs in his hands. Like I said, he looks like a Skylander, but not even one of the good Skylanders. One of the Skylanders you just throw to the side. God, I just want to sue the creators for even thinking of this character design. Probably my least favorite character design of all time. 100% 100% goes into the god-awful tier. And since we're here, we might as well go to his hero faction buddies. Connla has a decent character design. I think it has potential. I really don't like how he was wearing his glasses over his balance breaker at first. That looked really dumb. But when he didn't have the glasses on, it actually looked pretty cool. Super forgettable character. Pretty good design. And it matches his whole shadow figure thingy. It's actually not a bad character design. And then next is Siegfried. And honestly, I don't know why Siegfried and Fried are separated. They're actually the same exact character. They have the same exact character design. I'm just not looking at this. They have the same coat on, same hairstyle, same eyes, same pointy chin. But either way, I think these two both have pretty decent character designs. I do like the difference in the white versus the black. I feel like the black gives a more professional vibe, and that's what Siegfried is, like a calm version of Fried. And the white is way more risky and out there, which is exactly what Fried is. You know, he's crazy. So I actually do like the designs, and I like that difference in the characters. So yeah, they can both go into the solid tier. The next person on the list is Creuserey, and I think Creuserey kind of has a really bad character design. I don't like it. I don't like the scarf around his neck. I don't like the khaki pants, and it doesn't help that he shows up for 30 seconds, but there's just nothing that I like about his character design. And I don't know his character, so I can't really say if it fits him or not. So I think I'll actually put him in the eyesore tier. Definitely not my favorite. The next person on my list is one of my favorites. It's Vali, and Vali has such a good character design. I'm talking about just Vali by himself, not Albion. He sticks out as a character. He looks unique, and I think his design matches his character really well. That dark, mysterious, almost quiet guy type vibe. Even the little things like the chain coming out of his pocket. I mean, he comes off as a loner or as an outsider. So he can go up there with Rossweisse, honestly. The next person up is Katerea, and I think Katerea has a pretty unfitting character design. I mean, what do you have those glasses for? You're like the dumbest character in the entire series. She looks like an evil librarian, and I don't know if that's really the vibe I'm getting from her character, since she's just like a salty war maniac. And then she looks even worse when she does her self-destruction mode, when she turns all purple. She honestly looks really dumb there. It's kind of hard not to laugh during that scene. So I think the eyesore tier is actually perfect for her. Next up is the GOAT Azazel. And come on, it's a tier list video with Azazel on it. Of course he's going to be on the highest tier. Azazel looks so cool. He looks so different, so unique. I don't think I've ever really seen a character that looks like him. He has one of my favorite character designs, and I think he dresses really nicely, which only complements his character. Plus, when he has those wings out, just a top tier peak DxD character design. Nothing else to say about that. The next character is Arthur, and Arthur has a pretty basic character design. In high school DxD and their blonde characters, I don't know why they love blonde people so much. Arthur kind of just looks like Kiba if he grew his hair out. And he just has a basic suit on. Can we give him something that sticks out? Even his sword is boring to look at. He just has like a normal looking sword, the most normal looking sword ever. So Arthur definitely goes into the basic tier. The next person on my list is Fafnir, and Fafnir looks so cool. I really think Fafnir has my favorite armor in high school DxD, better than Ddraig and Albion. I love the gold with the purple. We only get to see it like twice in the anime, and both times it looks so good. I mean, just look at it. Look at the shine. Look at the glow. Look at the suit up. It looks so different from every other character. They do so good with the armor in this series. Anyone who wears armor looks good. So I gotta put him in the GOAT Azazel tier. The next person on the list is Valper Galilei. I don't know why I added this dude on the list. I mean, he's just an old man, and he does not look like a mad scientist at all. He doesn't look like he would be the creator of the Holy Sword Project. He just looks like a priest that I wouldn't want my kids to be around. So honestly, I'll put him in the god-awful tier. I think he looks goofy. I can't take him seriously. Next up is Gasper, and I don't really know what to think about Gasper's character design. Honestly, I think it does look kind of basic. He just has a bowl cut. He kind of just looks like a basic elf character, even though he's not an elf. The only thing about him that sticks out are his ears and the fact that he's a guy. But other than that, he has a pretty basic character design. Next up is Rias. I think Rias has a pretty decent character design, and I think her red hair really fits her character. I think I talked about this in one of my videos, but that red hair does give that loving and compassionate vibe, and that's something that both her and her brother are. But I feel like the best thing that Rias has going for her character design is her iconicness. She is the most iconic high school DxD character. People who don't watch high school DxD know who Rias is, so I think I'm obligated to put her in the peak tier. Next up is Asya, and Asya is kind of like Issei, where there's a lot of characters that look like her, but I don't think Asya's character design is as basic as Issei's, especially when she has the nun outfit on. I think it goes better with her character, and I think the green eyes really save Asya from being on that same tier with Issei. Plus, she's not really an eyesore to look at, so I'll definitely put Asya in the basic tier. She's pretty much in the same boat as Gasper. Next up is Ddraig, and Ddraig has a really nice character design. Ddraig doesn't ever look bad. His armor carries Issei so hard when it comes to character designs. The only reason you can say Issei kinda looks cool is when he has that armor on. It really looks nice, and I think it looks unique. Again, I haven't seen too many series that have character designs like High School DxD's armor. I really love Ddraig's design, and there's no other tier for him but the Goat Azazel tier. It's one of my favorites, and we might as well go with Albion next. He's in the same exact boat as Ddraig. Albion looks really cool. I actually like Albion's wings more than I like Draig's wings, but I like Ddraig overall more than Albion, but that's just because I like red more than white. But yeah, I think Albion looks really cool too, and unlike Ddraig, who elevates Issei's character, Albion just fits with Vali's character really well. They're like a perfect combo. So Albion goes right next to his best friend Ddraig. Hopefully they don't start a war up there. Next up is Diodora, and I'm not a fan of Diodora's character design at all. He kind of looks like Kirito from Sword Art Online if he had no type of aura. At least I think Kirito is supposed to have aura. I don't know. I haven't seen Sword Art Online in like 10 years. I don't really like it that much, but that's not the point. He has a pretty basic character design. I mean, he looks like a rich boy. He looks like a privileged boy. He looks like he can't fight, and he's all of those things. So, I mean, I guess it suits him. And I do think it is interesting that his eyes are almost always closed. I think that really shows the fakeness in his character, and when he opens his eyes, you can just see how evil he is. The few times this dude has his eyes open, he looks like the most evil guy ever. So actually, I'll put him in the basic tier. I was gonna put him in eyesore, but thinking about that made me move him up. Next up is Akeno. I really like Akeno's character design. This is how you make a character with a basic hair color. Akeno sticks out as a character, and she looks really good. Her character design, honestly, I think it looks better than Rias, but I think Rias is just more iconic. I think I have to put her in peak DxD designs, especially when she has her fits on, because she is like one of the best dressed characters. The next character on the list is Koneko. I think Koneko, like Akeno and Rias, has a pretty iconic character design. I think the color choice for Koneko's character was perfect too. You know, white shows a blank expression, and that's exactly what Koneko is. She's almost expressionless, so I think they did that perfectly. Nothing to complain about, but not good enough to be considered a peak DxD design, but still solid. Next up is Kokabiel. Kokabiel has such a good character design. It's honestly wasted. I really think this should be our final villain. This is what he should look like. Honestly, I think he looks more like the leader of the Fallen Angels than Azazel does. This is one of the best DxD character designs, and this is the best character design for a villain by far. I mean, everything about it, the unconditioned hair, the extremely sharp teeth, the pure red eyes. I honestly think I'll have to put Kokabiel in the Goat Azazel tier, which is kind of crazy because his character is nowhere near that. Next up is Soso, and I think Soso's in like the same exact boat as Vali. I really like Soso's fit. Soso has one of my favorite fits. I love the jacket wrapped around the waist. I think it looks really cool, and I think it looks really different. He's one of the better looking villains in the series, and I think he also gives off that nonchalant, cold and calculated character, and I think his character design does a really good job at showing that. So Soso, I'll put him right next to Vali in the peak DxD tier. Next up is Raynare, and Raynare is kind of a weird one. I don't think Raynare has a bad design, but I also don't think she really has an interesting design either. I think she looks good for what she is, you know, the first villain that our character fights, and ultimately a lackey for stronger characters. So I'll at least give her that. I think it's alright. I'll put it in the basic tier. I think they could have done a little bit more to make her look unique, but ultimately I do think it works for her character. Next is Riser, and I do really like Riser's character design. I think Riser dresses better than his actual character design. It kind of boosts his design up a lot. But I think Riser's looks so good because he looks like the biggest douche ever, and the outfit just elevates that. But even like just the fire wings that he has, I think those look so cool. And I think it fits the Phoenix family. I really like Riser's character design. I think I honestly put it in the peak DxD tier as well. Even though his face and his hair look kind of basic, his outfits and the way they're able to implement his powers into his character design gives him a really strong boost for me. Next up is Xenovia, and Xenovia has a pretty good character design. I think she's like the definition of a solid character. She's kind of the complete opposite of Riser, where Riser's fit and his powers elevated his character design. I think Xenovia's face and hair elevate hers. Obviously, the thing that sticks out the most about Xenovia is the blue hair. I think it looks different and I think it works for her character. A character as weird and wacky as Xenovia should have a weird and wacky hair color. Plus, I love how Durandal matches with her. I'll put her in the solid tier. She's missing something. I don't know what it is, but she's missing something for me to put her in the peak tier. But she's still a really solid character design. Next on the list is Sairaorg, and I did hate Sairaorg's fit. I think Sairaorg has a bottom 2 fit of all time. The only person below him is this dude right here, but I think it kind of suits his character. Like, he doesn't come off as a guy that would really care about how he dresses. He looks like he would be in gym shorts and a t-shirt all day. You know, he's a hard-working dude and he's a cool guy. So I think his character design really fits him. And I mean, he's so big that he's automatically gonna look different from every other character. He's like the only character that's this big. So surprisingly, I'll put Sairaorg in the solid tier. I think he has a pretty good character design. I think it fits his character well. And I think he's a fun character to look at. Next on the list is Irina. And I think Irina also has a really solid character design. She actually sticks out a lot. She has a really unique character design. Her little pigtails with the orange hair, you don't really see that ever. I think it looks really nice and I think it goes well enough with her character. There's not anything to hate here about her character design. Especially when she has the wings out. I swear the wings just elevate every character. But I think she actually has a really solid character design. She'll go right next to Xenovia in the solid tier. Next up is Grayfia. I don't know. I don't really like Grayfia's character design for some reason. It doesn't stick out at all to me. And honestly, it's a really forgettable design. She's just a gray-haired maid. I'll still put her in the basic tier since she isn't an eyesore to look at. But she's definitely not a fun character to look at either. The next guy is really confusing. It's Loki. I don't know where to put Loki, honestly. Loki's character design, I'll give them props because it does look super unique. This might be the most unique looking character design I've ever seen. I've never seen Loki look like this. This one sticks out so much that it almost has the opposite effect. He almost looks too wacky where it's almost hard to take him seriously. I think if we got to see more of Loki, then I would like it more. But I'll still put it in the solid tier because I do like the attempt. I think this is still a really good looking character design. And I think it's probably the most unique character design in the entire series. And then the last person, we finally made it to the end, is Tannin. And I put him last for a specific reason. Tannin has my favorite character design in the entire series. Honestly, I'm gonna make an entire new tier just for Tannin. Yeah, Tannin gets his own tier. He's that good. I mean, just look at him. He's a walking, talking dragon that can wear pants. Do I have to say any more? That's so cool. I love this character design so much because it feels so different from all the other dragons. When you look at all the other dragons, they look like actual dragons. Tannin, on the other hand, kind of feels more like a human dragon character. He kind of feels like a mix of the two. It makes me more interested in seeing him fight. Plus the color choice, it all goes together so well. I mean, like 90% of the reason why I like Tannin is just because of his character design. I really wish we get to see more of him. Easily, by far, the best designed character in High School DxD. They truly were in their bag when they made Tannin. And that video is finally over. I had an actual ending recorded for this video, but I feel like I just had to step in and just talk for a second. This video was recorded like 3 weeks ago. It was supposed to actually come out on time, but for some reason I just can't get these videos out consistently, and I just wanted to apologize for that. I think from here on out I'm just gonna stop making promises because the last thing I want to do is let people down, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing when I say I'm gonna post once a week and then I just end up missing multiple weeks. So from here on out I'm not going to be making any more promises about my upload schedule. I'm just going to upload whenever I want to, because I feel like when I give myself an upload schedule, that's when I start to miss weeks and stuff. And just because I'm saying this doesn't mean that I'm not gonna post often or anything. I'm not gonna take 1 month breaks between each post. So instead of saying the next week's video is gonna be this or that, I'm gonna just say what video I have in development. And the video in development is the Volume 8 review. And hopefully it'll be out at a good time. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.